Howdy, Yags. Welcome to KINE's 199 Canoe Yoga. My name is Mary Beth Hinthorn, and I'm going to be your instructor for this class. I'm really looking forward to meeting you all and being on the water with you this semester. KINE's 199 Canoe Yoga is super fun. We meet at Milliken Reserve, which is a recreation place south of town. It's also a neighborhood, and it's also has a beautiful wedding facility on it. But we get to meet at the boathouse every Thursday this semester to play on the water, to have fellowship with each other, just to be outdoors. And to me, it just makes my life so much better and my semester so much better to have this chance to be outdoors and to be with you. We're not meeting today, obviously. It's cold. And that's the reason that this class starts in February. It will start February 3rd. So February 3rd, we will meet in the PIAP building to talk a little bit about how to get to Milliken, to get into some carpools, to get to know each other just a little bit more, so that our semester is going to be super fun. I want you, though, to know what is expected of you this semester before add drop deadline happens on Monday. There are, even though this is a fun canoe yoga class, there are some requirements of you, and you are getting academic credit, which is crazy that you're getting academic credit, but you are for this class. So you're going to need to know how you're going to be graded. So I'm going to share the syllabus with you in just a minute and kind of highlight some things that I think are important and that I want you to know. Just know that this is a shortened class. It means it doesn't meet the whole semester. As a matter of fact, we start February 3rd and we'll end around the middle of April for one of two reasons. One reason is because you are meeting 2 hours a week. For example, I teach a KINE's 199 pickleball. I teach a KINE's 199 sand volleyball. These both meet only an hour and 15 minutes. So in order to give you the correct credit for these 1 hour classes so that all students get even and fair amount of credit, because we're meeting 2 hours rather than 1 hour and 15, the short semester happens. We also take a required field trip to the San Marcos River on a Friday. I think it's April the 8th this semester. And so because we play on the river for about 5 hours, is another reason that this class doesn't meet the whole time. However, it's a blast, and I'm so excited that you've registered for it. We're going to have a really, really good time. So I'm going to share my screen with you and just kind of highlight some important parts of this semester. I'm not going to read it to you. You guys are all smart individuals. So I just am going to point on the information that I believe you're going to need to know. Starting February 3rd, there it is. We will meet in PIAP, the main gym of PIAP, but every meeting after that will be in Milliken Reserve. So this is my contact information. If you call this phone number, it's actually going to roll over to my cell phone. So just be aware of that. And actually, I can meet before or after class to talk about anything that you need to talk about. You know, I'm an Aggie. Here's my Aggie ring. I got my undergrad in '93, and then I got my master's degree in '08. And I understand what it's like to be a student at this university. It wasn't that long ago. It was long ago, but it wasn't that long ago. And so I understand that you've got outside influences and you've got other class loads. And I really want to make this class fun for you. I want Milliken Reserve to kind of be our outdoor sanctuary where we can just come together and play on the water and do some yoga and just be together. And so, if you need to talk to me about anything, my door is always open. Always best, though, before class or after class. That's the best that works for me. And I really, really mean that. So you can see and read about the learning outcomes. We do have a Sky Pack ebook that's $35 that is required of this class. I'll talk a little bit more about the Skyback ebook. If you've already bought this and have been in a canoeing class before, you don't need to buy this again. However, 15 points out of our 100 are going to come from this ebook. Okay. My suggestion is that you buy it directly from Skypack. There's a link here in the syllabus that will tell you how to buy it. I know that some of you might be on scholarship and you have to go through the bookstore, and that's fine. You can buy it through the bookstore. But if you don't have to go through the bookstore, the easiest way for you to buy this is at the link here. I'll talk a little bit more about Skypack requirements in just a little bit. You're also going to need a 10-foot piece of memory rope to tie knots. We're going to learn a lot of functional knots this semester, which you're going to be able to use long past graduation. So that rope is $3 and it can be bought at TAMU Outdoors, which sits at the west side of the rec center. You can just walk in there, tell them you're in a KINE 199 canoe class, and purchase the rope there. If you have a rope at your house, bring it. You know, you don't need to buy this rope if you already have rope at your house. You'll need to bring a water bottle each day because it might be hot when it gets into the spring. When spring happens, it's beautiful. It's so pretty out at Milliken in the spring. But we can talk a little bit more about what you're required to bring when we meet on February 3rd. The rope and Skypack probably should be bought before we meet on February 3rd. So again, dress requirements we'll cover on February 3rd. What you're mostly going to be interested in, I know students, is the course requirements and the grading requirements. So it is out of 100 points. Again, this is not brain surgery. It's not rocket science, but there is something that I'm going to grade you on. Canoeing is a skill. Yoga poses require a little bit of skill, although yoga is more about breathing than flexibility. Please know that right off the bat. But this course is out of 100 points. So when it's all said and done, 70% of those points are going to be from your activity and skill grading, meaning I'm going to ask you, we're going to spend the first 5-6 weeks on the water in a canoe, doing yoga on shore and doing canoe games and drills and fun little, maybe follow the leader and scavenger hunts in our canoe. So I'm going to actually teach you how to steer the boat. That's our goal. We want to be able to make the boat do what we want it to do, just like we want to make a car do what it wants to do, or a bicycle. We want to make the boat do what we want it to do, so that when we go on our field trip in to San Marcos, it is a whitewater river, meaning that when a canoe gets in white water, the water's going to push it around a little bit, but we're going to need to tell that canoe what to do, not the river. The river doesn't get to tell the canoe how to behave. We get to tell the canoe how to behave, and that requires skill. So for the first couple of weeks, we will be in a canoe some of the time learning these skills of the forward stroke, the J pry, the draw, the crossbow draw, and the sweep. And you can see all these strokes in your Skypack. Some points are going to come just from being there and unloading boats and loading boats each day. Sometimes we're canoeing with a partner out at Milliken, and sometimes you're going to go in a solo boat by yourself. Just going in that solo boat is going to give you 5 points. Just being brave enough to go by yourself, which it's fun sometimes to go by yourself when there's not so much wind, which we won't go in solo boats on the days that it's windy, but that's going to give you 5 points. Yoga poses that are on the paddleboard. So when we talk about yoga, the first couple of weeks in the semester is going to be poses on shore, stretches on shore to get us ready to go into the canoe. The last part of the semester is going to be paddleboard yoga, where we actually get to get on the paddleboard and work on our flexibility. So a lot of fun. You're also going to tie some knots. So these knots here are the ones that I have picked for this semester, and they're functional knots. Again, you will use these outside of class. I've had a student that emailed me. Actually, he sent me a group me message 4 years later 4 years after he graduated, our group meet was still open. He told our whole class, hey guys, I just tried the bowling. We went boating with my father-in-law and I impressed him so much. Side story, but it's true. You could use these knots later on in life. So that's why they're in your requirements. The field trip is worth 20 points. So if you show up to Outdoor Adventures, we all go together. That field trip is part of your fees, so you won't have to pay any other fees. But a typical field trip looks like this. We show up at Outdoor Adventures at 7 a.m. Our trip will be on April the 8th. We will start headed out to San Marcos. We usually stop in Bastrop, either at Buc-ee's or we stop at Jalisco's Mexican food place to get breakfast tacos. And then we head to the river. We usually get to the river about 10:30 and then start the process to get on the river, and we'll just play. It takes about 4.5 hours to get down the river. So generally about 4 o'clock, we'll get off the river, head back to College Station, and you can expect to be home, hopefully no later than about 7 or 8 that evening. That is our usual trip. Now, if April the 8th, you have something to do that weekend, then you are welcome to drive your own vehicle so that you can cruise to whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing that weekend. Or you're going to have to get another trip with Outdoor Adventures during the semester. So those are the options there. This is a required field trip. If you don't go on the field trip, you're going to lose 20 points of your final grade. So that's the skills part of it. So 40% comes from a practical exam, showing me your canoe skills and your yoga skills. 10 points comes from the knots, and 20 points, you're going to show me your skills on the field trip. That's the 70 points. The other 30 points are cognitive. 15 of those points come from your SkyPack quizzes, which are embedded in your SkyPack textbook. And then 15 points will come from a video analysis where I am going to provide you with a yoga video. It's going to be awesome, and you're going to reflect on it. So that's the cognitive portion of this class. For all my classes, if you notice this late work caveat, I don't accept late work. I just don't. It's not fair. It's not fair for students who turn in their assignments on time. So just know that this is my policy. And when things turn off, i.e. due dates happen either in SkyPack or in Canvas, then you're not going to be allowed to turn anything in. Now, I don't have a lot of things due, so I need you to put some things on your calendar right now, which brings me to the course schedule. Okay. This is your class orientation video. This is what you're watching to make sure you understand what's expected of you. On the 3rd, we'll meet in PAP in the large gym in 132 to get to know each other, to form our carpools, and just to talk a little bit more about what you're going to be required to bring when class starts on the 10th. That's the first day we'll meet out at Milliken Reserve. So you can see what is expected of you every day. Let me point out the days that points happen. So on the 24th, we will not meet in class. You will have a video. I will open it on the 17th of February, and you'll have a week to do this video. And you'll have a week to reflect on the video and the experience that I provide for you. So that video analysis is due on the 24th of February. If we kind of look down the head of time, there's no class on spring break, obviously. Go have fun doing whatever you're going to do. Be careful. Come back to me safely. On the 24th, when we get back from spring break, that's when your knots test is going to be due. You're going to be responsible for providing a video, for recording your knots and your tying of the knots online. Okay, this is going to be due online. And all your SkyPack quizzes are due on March the 24th. So if you don't have money, $35 to buy your SkyPack now, and you don't have money in February, $35 to buy your SkyPack then, March 1st, make sure you buy the Sky Pack. I'll be referring to it all semester long, but the quizzes in Sky Pack won't be due until March the 24th. So you'll have some time to do the quizzes. When we get back on the 31st, that's when the skills test is going to happen. And that's when we're going to start paddleboard yoga. Okay. So just know that our field trip is on the 8th, April the 8th. We go to San Marcos River. And then that next week, we will wrap up and you'll be done with this class on April the 14th. So that is our class as a whole. I'm going to let you read about the attendance policy. I do need to let you know, though, we do have an attendance policy. KINE 199s, since we meet 1 day a week, you are expected to show up, okay? You get 1 unexcused absence, meaning you don't have to provide documentation for me, but any absence unexcused after the second one, the second absence is going to be a 20-point deduction from your final grade. And the third absence unexcused is going to be an automatic failure. Now, we live in an interesting time. Omicron is going around. People are getting sick. I get it. If you're sick, don't come to class. What I ask for you to do is go take care of yourself. Go to the doctor. Go get COVID tested. Make sure that you're okay to come to class. But what you have to do is provide me documentation for that absence. And you have to notify me before class that you're going to be absent. So those are the 2 things I ask if you're sick or if you're absent. Notify me before class. And if you have some kind of documentation or an excuse, please provide that to me within a week of missing our class. And that's all found right here in the attendance policy. Okay. You can read about makeup work. I'll work with you if you have an excused absence, obviously. You can read about the Disabilities Act. So if you do have a disability, I'm happy to work with you if you are assigned through disability services. And basically, you can just read all down about additional policies. This is our specific to our department policy. You know, basically, there's a risk assumed with this class. We're being active. You know, I could twist my ankle walking down the street. I'm kind of klutzy. But anytime we do anything active, there's a risk associated with this class. And you know that now, and you accept that risk. Risk is mitigated. So, but I do have to remind you of that. And you can kind of read this. KINE 199s can be taken on a pass fail or a graded basis, meaning if you don't want to go on the field trip, that's a 20-point deduction. That means you won't get those 20 points, but you might want to take this class pass fail. And if that's the case, then you'll just take it pass fail. A 70 equals pass fail. You either pass or you fail it. You get the credit, but it doesn't affect your GPA. A graded section is for an A, B, C, all the way down. So if you don't want to do Sky Pack, okay, if you don't want to purchase Sky Pack, that's your option. 15 points of this grade, though, comes from the Sky Pack quizzes. So if you choose not to buy Sky Pack, then you'll have started with an 85 already, and that might be okay. You might just want to take this pass fail. So, couple of just things to point out. I am available during our class today to answer any questions that you may have. Reach out to me, email me. It is January the 20th. And so if you have any questions after looking at this video, even over the weekend or even on Monday is the add drop day, please reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. And I'm really excited that you're in this class because we are going to have so much fun. All right. So until I see you again, gig 'em and stay warm this weekend.